All right, huge developments coming in from the Rouse Avenue Court as Manish Sisodia's counsel begin arguments. In fact, Sisodia's counsel there trying to argue that hasty processing of a policy does not amount to money laundering. Sisodia says he was never summoned by the Enforcement Directorate. In fact, he was arrested one day before the bail hearing itself. This is Manish Sisodia's counsel there arguing for him. Says the ED's conduct is a huge cause of concern as the ED never summoned Manish Sisodia in the first place. All allegations are all hearsay. This is the argument of Manish Sisodia's counsel at this point while they argue against custody, ED custody for Manish Sisodia. What the Sisodia's counsel there is putting out in court is that ED has not even summoned Manish Sisodia in the first place. Now what we hear is that the ED has not summoned Manish Sisodia is what the counsel says in court. That the character of the ED now and their actions is of great concern. In fact, while the counsel argues in court, Manish Sisodia's counsel argues in court, they say hasty processing of the policy, a hasty policy making itself is not a criminal offence and not a money laundering case at all. This is the statements or the arguments coming from Manish Sisodia's counsel in court. ED's conduct is a cause of concern, they claim, saying that ED had never summoned Manish Sisodia in the first place in the money laundering case. The fact that a day before his bail hearing, the ED asking for his arrest is raising questions on the ED's intentions. This is what Manish Sisodia's counsel says as they start arguing in court against ED's request for Sisodia's 10-day custody. Cutting across to Anisha Mathur joining us right from outside the Rouse Avenue Court. Anisha, Manish Sisodia's counsel says just because the policy was pulled off in a hasty manner, that it was done so quickly, that does not amount to a money laundering case and that you can't raise suspicion on the intent because it was hasty. He also says that ED never summoned Sisodia, and the fact that just a day before Sisodia's bail hearing, ED is asking for his 10-day custody raises questions on the ED's intent.
Well, yes, Nabila, the lawyers for Manish Sisodia, Senior Advocate Dayan Krishnan, has been opposing the ED's argument, the ED's plea for 10 days custody. Now, the main thrust of the argument by Manish Sisodia's lawyers is that he was never questioned or summoned by the ED earlier, that the process and the investigation is ex officio, not pure. What they are saying is that he is being arrested under the special act only to make sure that he does not get bail, and this is being an argument that is being raised by Senior Advocate Dayan Krishnan, that the court should be concerned at the way this prosecution is being carried out, that when the ED wants to arrest somebody, when there is need for custodial interrogation, the burden on the prosecuting agency is higher to show why exactly this custodial interrogation is required. And they are saying that the ECIR, that is the ED investigation, it started in 2022, but Manish Sisodia was never summoned for questioning, and it was only one day before the bail hearing that he has been arrested. Additionally, what he is also saying is that the 57-page remand application, which we've been hearing about for the last hour as the court was hearing the ED's application, the 57-page remand application only essentially contains matters of the predicate offence, which is, of course, the alleged corruption that the CBI is investigating. And you and I were also discussing this a few minutes ago, Nabila, that what is the allegations of money laundering specifically that the ED has raised. And this is a question that Mr. Dayan Krishnan is also raising, that the ED has to show the proceeds of the crime, the ED has to show that there was a money trail, that the remand application does not meet the test that is required for custodial interrogation. And in fact, what he's saying is, and I'm quoting what my colleague Kanu has sent from inside, the timing of arrest is mala fide and with an intention that he is kept inside for a longer period. That is what Mr. Dayan Krishnan is arguing that the entire remand application by the ED has been focusing on the CBI's investigation, on the allegations of the change in the policy, on the allegations of destruction of evidence, on the allegation of meeting with the liquor cartels and licensing being given to the liquor cartels. According to Mr. Krishnan, the ED has not given any direct evidence of the money trail or the money laundering, that they have not shown any trace of the money, and that there has been no evidence as such given with regard to whether any funds were actually received or transferred by Mr. Manish Sisodia or even by Vijay Nair.